let me begin. Let's get to know your mind a little bit better. Some of you may have heard the analogy that the mind is like an iceberg. Has anyone heard that before? Hands up if you've heard the mind's like an iceberg. Fantastic. Where there's a part of your mind, an aspect of your mind that sits above the surface of consciousness, and an aspect of your mind that sits below the surface of consciousness in your unconscious mind. Also referred to as your subconscious mind. Yeah? So there's different words for that mind. Now the conscious mind is the part of our mind that we already know pretty well. So if I shut up for a few seconds, whatever thought might have gone through your mind at that last few seconds is a thought that bubbled up into the realm of your conscious mind. Is that clear? Yeah. So the conscious mind is the part of your mind that you think with and you make plans with, and you think, oh my God, am I going to get there in time, or what's that weather like today, or whatever. It's like that part of your mind we're consciously aware of. Does that make sense, guys? Yeah. But there's also a part of the mind that I'm really interested in. It's the part of the mind that we harness and access using the Mind Detox Method. Why would you want to do that? Well, for many reasons. This unconscious mind is in charge of many, many things. The first thing I want to make you aware of that it's in charge of is our emotions. Is our emotions. If the conscious mind was in charge of our emotions, then every single person here would be able to think to themselves, I want to experience eternal peace. And then suddenly we'd be experiencing eternal peace because it would be our conscious choice to experience that. Does that make sense? But sometimes, you know, if you've got that important presentation to do and you're off to meet that person or have that difficult conversation or whatever, then you might go, I want to feel confident and calm, but there might be a part of you going, no, you're not. You're going to feel something completely different. Is that ever... You can relate to that? Because that's an example, that's a very obvious example as to why our emotions are really taking care of our unconscious mind. So our unconscious mind's in charge of our emotions, and if you think about it, most people want to, if they come to a therapist, for example, they want to feel differently. There's something that's bothering them, and they want to feel more peace and contentment or confidence or happiness or fulfillment or something. They want to feel different. So we want to do that. It's important that we understand how the mind operates, you know, so that we can actually start to take charge of these emotions more. Is that right, guys? It's also in charge of our behaviors. Now this was a surprise to me. I was like, no, I'm in charge of my behaviors. But actually, if I was honest with myself, my emotions drive my behaviors. Or, you know, how I'm feeling impacts how I'm behaving. Have you ever had that before? Other examples of classic unconscious behaviors is talking, walk. You don't really think to talk, really. You don't really think to walk anymore. You did that a while, but then once you learned it, it was kind of natural. You're like, you don't really, or driving. You know, when you drove over here, you know, when I first started going in a car, I sat down there and I was like, oh my God, 3 pedals, 2 feet, how does that work? You know, I couldn't figure it out. And so I had all these things I had to do. I'd be looking here, mirror signal mover, or whatever that was. And before I knew it though, I saw other people driving places whilst listening to music, talking on the telephone and shaving and reading a newspaper or whatever, but basically they get to do all this without even thinking anymore because you're just like, it's unconscious now. Have you ever had that where you get to a place and you don't remember the journey at all? Like, where did that journey go? But if you come to my talk yesterday about being in the present moment, you would have found out where it went if you were thinking. But we'll come on to that later if you want. But a lot of our emotions, our behaviours, sadly, are very much unconscious and driven by a large part of our emotions. You know, I remember when I was younger, I was just getting into like exploring what it was like to be in relationships. I would like be having an argument with one of my girlfriends. Not one of them. I didn't have lots at the time. That wasn't what the argument was about. But like a girlfriend, and I'd be like, "Well, I'll just pack my bags then," and I'll be packing my bags. Think, I just want a hug, you know, and like I just want a hug, but like I'm packing my bags, and then I'm thinking to myself, "Shit, she's not telling me to stop packing my bags." Says, I'm going to do this. Okay, I'm packing my bags, really. Right. So, but a lot of our behaviours can be driven, you know, really by emotions, and we're not really in charge of them sometimes. Another example of that would be emotional eating, would be, or even some more up-to-date unconscious behaviours is like textaholics. You know, textaholics. How do you call it? Basically, people feel the need to be texting all the time, or checking the BlackBerry all the time. Yeah? That's actually an unconscious behaviour. It becomes unconscious, and people are constantly like this instead of just, you know, being here. A lot of the behaviours we do are unconscious. So if we want to change our behaviour, then it might be useful to look into the realm of the unconscious mind. I hope? No. Fantastic.